Just got the Fix-It Guide. Today we have a GMC Yukon. It's having trouble with the heater. So regardless of where we put this control, this vent, this is on the driver's side, this vent and this vent will always blow hot air. So sometimes this part gets stuck in the hot mode. Sometimes it can be the opposite, where it's stuck on the cold even though you're asking for hot. And it's not really this component that's doing it. This is a rheostat that controls the position of a step motor. And the step motor moves a door, a blend door, that either gives you the hotter air that's coming from a little radiator down here that is hot because of the engine coolant, or it brings in the outside air. So sometimes that step motor doesn't work anymore. And this is made by AC Delco. Here's the part number. And it is good to use the original manufactured OEM product instead of a aftermarket. Even though it's more expensive, it's stronger and less likely to malfunction. So I think this is the best one. Before replacing this step motor, which is actually pretty easy to do, it just lives underneath this black cowling about right here. Before doing that, you can try another thing that is pretty easy and fast. It just involves pulling one of the fuses. So you're just going to open up your hood, and the fuse box is right underneath here. So we have the emergency catch here, the release catch. You just pop this one, and this is true of most of the GMC models. You look for your fuse box, look for the HVAC ECAS, and this fuse, if you pull it and then put it back in, it resets the calibration of the step motors and may help you to get it back to normal. So looking at the chart, it shows that it's a 10 amp located right here. So you're going to try to find where that is. So it says it's near a 25 amp right there, and then above it is a 10 amp. So it's this fuse. We're going to grab it, we're going to pull it out. We're just going to wait for a full minute and we'll put it back in. Once we put it back in, we'll put the key in the position just prior to the car starting. And then we're going to wait for a while, and we'll hear inside the car all the different step motors that control the airflow will be moving around and recalibrating, going back to where they're calibrated with the control, with the rheostat. If that doesn't work, then it may be time to change the step motor, because the step motor has gears in it that can get stripped. It also has limit switches that kind of prevent it from going too far, and those can malfunction. So this has been about a minute's gone by. We're going to put this 10 amp fuse back in where it came from, which is right above this 25 amp. Put that back in, make sure it's seated all the way. Put this cover back on. Close the hood. Go in and we'll put the key to the position just prior to ignition. And we might be able to even hear these step motors. We're going to put these in a neutral position, right in the middle, right in the middle. We're going to turn the key 1, 2 times. And I can hear that step motor moving around. I don't know if the video is picking this up, but I can hear this step motor. I can hear the step motor that's deep inside the console here. And I can even hear some ones in the back. So this recalibration process, once you turn that key, it's going to take maybe a good 5 minutes. And then after that's happened, you can start the car, and then you can move around these rheostats and see if that solved the problem. If that hasn't solved the problem, the next step will be to put in the step motor, which won't take you more than about 20 minutes. Just need a few sockets to take off the plastic cowling down here, and also to remove a couple of screws that are holding in the step motor. So here's the one from AC Delco, which is the original manufacturer. And I can't recall the exact price, but I remember it was more expensive than some of the other ones. So this is the step motor, and there's a plastic piece that goes into this. This goes up, and as the step motor turns, depending on where you put this control, the motor will turn some gears, and this will turn a little bit this way or a little bit this way, and that moves a blend door, and the blend door will again either bring in fresh air from the outside room temperature or outside temperature, or it can be used to repurpose some air that goes by a little radiator that exists down in this area, and that's really hot, and that'll bring a nice warm air during cold time. So it's a very important piece to have. When it malfunctions, which is very common, I think if your car is about maybe 8 years or more, very common that these step motors start to give up and you'll start to have problems. If you notice that these guys are creating that weird problem where on the passenger side it's not doing as it's supposed to, you can also change the same step motor, but it lives much deeper in. It's kind of difficult, actually. You have to do a lot of disassembly of the dashboard to get to it. So hopefully what you're noticing is it's happening more for the driver. That's a little more common too if you think about it, because a lot of times we're in the vehicle by ourselves, and this one's going to be used a lot more and is more apt to wear out faster, the one that lives down here that's easy to change, than the one that's in the back, which is difficult. So even at the 8-year mark, this one may start to have trouble. That one, you may be at 12, 15 years, it may never have trouble because it's just used less frequently. So if you, after doing all that, you start the car and you notice it's still trouble, if you notice that moving this around doesn't give you any change, then it may be time for the new step motor. So I'm going to turn up the fan, see if I can feel a difference. Yeah, so it's still pretty much the same temperature regardless of the rheostat position. So it would be a good idea now for me to change this step motor, and I'll show you how to do that.